Hello, welcome to today's Noob tip of the day, all about garbage processing, kind of what assets I would recommend you using, and how to use them. So let's first kind of talk about the two philosophies, or two ways you can set up your garbage, and that is you can kind of sprinkle it throughout your city, which is kind of how it's set up in this city here, or you could say maybe find a centralized location in your city and build like a hub and spoke type method, where maybe like in this area, instead of it being commercial, this is like my garbage processing facility, and I connect it to the highway in here, and then that provided, all the garbage collection for my city. Now, if you have, so we'll kind of talk about vanilla, and of course, if you have some DLCs and how that kind of differs and how that may change your strategy. So if you are just using the vanilla base game stuff, so no DLCs or nothing, all you have is the landfill and the incinerator, I would not recommend you use the hub and spoke method. What's going to happen is you're going to put them all down in this area, we'll say, and then the folks over here are going to struggle getting their garbage collected. Folks down here are going to struggle because they will go beyond the green, like kind of highlighted range that you see on the roads, but it might take a long time, for the trucks to get here and come back, and they're gonna, like I said, the garbage is gonna pile up. They get mad, angry, and might go abandoned, or they might not even go here. It might be just too far, because it's really the base game stuff's not designed to be the hub and spoke. The Sunset Harbor DLC stuff is, so that's this guy here, the waste transfer facility and the waste processing complex. This guy is designed to be he's supposed to use the hub. You would put like a handful of these guys in here, and then you would put these within your areas, your city areas, and that will work really well because these guys will collect the local trash, and then these guys here will go ahead and pick them up. It will also, you can see, it'll make the area green, so it'll provide like a service for your areas, for your buildings to level up. Whereas if you use these two, your green will only stretch so far. It'll probably go, if you put it here, it might go like down into here, which would be good. It probably be enough to kind of fill in most of this area and maybe a little bit over here. But like all this stuff in here, all this stuff down here, they're going to be missing a service. So you may, as well as not having good trash collection far away from your area, so like the outskirts of your city, you may also have poor land value and buildings that maybe get stuck at like level 3 or level 4 because they're just missing that garbage service to level them up some more. Alright, so that's hub and spoke. So if you don't have Sunset Harbor or DLC, and you can't use these two for your hub and spoke method that you really are itching to use, and you just have maybe these two, or maybe even just the green cities and the base game, then what I would recommend you do is kind of build little mini service centers on each tile. Like find areas that maybe you're not going to use or zone for like residential or commercial. Like, so here's the first tile. This is kind of a good example where it's just kind of off the roundabout. I have the the road maintenance building, the park maintenance. I have some death care, and then I have a recycle center. And over here I have like a power plant and recycle some garbage stuff. A couple of recycle centers actually, and I have the maintenance buildings and stuff. And I actually have a crematorium not that far from here, so I could probably stick in here and actually complete the whole gambit. Same thing here. Crematorium, some maintenance buildings, recycle center, landfill. Same thing in here, right? So I got like little, almost like satellite little pods of service, and then they'll cover pretty much the whole entire area, and they'll kind of be like away from themselves, away from like the citizens and stuff, so they won't, pollute the land near them or be too noisy and all that, and they'll be close. So then your folks will be like, yeah, I got great services. Thank you very much, Mayor, for putting things nearby. I'm a level 5 building now, and I'm happy. So go ahead and do something like that. That works. I find that works really, really well. You will have some cross-contamination, like this guy here might collect garbage in here, and this guy here might collect garbage in here. And, I think on PC there's like a better service mod that can kind of help make the services serve more locally, but that's just the nature of the game on console. It's okay. If he drives over here to collect stuff and then he drives over here to collect stuff, it's okay. You'll still be fine. I don't have any garbage symbols, so, and I'm emptying a couple things. So you know, it's good. Now, as far as like how to play, like what buildings to place and how many, let's get into that real quick, and then we'll end this. So if you just have these two, once again, I would treat this like I treat my death care. Put down roughly 2 to 3 of the landfill sites for every one incinerator. Have your landfills be the backbone, and their job is to collect garbage. Have the incinerators be the device that empties out your landfills, and that's their job. Their job is not to collect garbage, drive around town. Their job is to empty out the landfills. And why would you want to do that? You don't have to. Of course, you can. Once you get this, start slamming these down and just never use the landfill again. That's totally fine. It's just be mindful if you're struggling with money, that these things cost $14.40 a week. And these things cost $1.60 a week. So it's a lot more cost effective to put down a bunch of these and very few of these. Just like it's the same thing with death care, and I'll have a death care video coming out shortly. These things cost $160. These things cost $720. So you know, a lot of these equal one of these. So you can, if you look at my death care, I got 1, 2, 3 cemeteries to 1 crematorium, and it's working fine. And I have a rotating schedule, just with the garbage. So we'll go back to garbage. You could throw like one or two of these down, and maybe a couple of these down, and then you'd have maybe one of these like near maybe where you put the 2 down. So it's close. And then they could just, like I said, have one of these emptying at all one time. So you probably put like 2 of these and maybe 1 of these per tile, roughly, we'll say. Like I said, 2 to 1, 3 to 1. It's probably 3 to 1. You could probably get away with 3 to 1 if you're really trying to make some money. And always have a landfill emptying, and he'll always be churning away and processing stuff. And then once he's empty, just like the cemeteries, you just bounce around and say, okay, this one's at 60%, and he is good. When it gets to maybe like in the 80s, empty him. He's at 13, he's good. And just kind of go around and check them every once in a while, and just empty one. Once you're done emptying, you'll see it's done emptying, and then you get the nice little symbol, the little green, almost looks like a green star thing. Let them rock and roll, and then go look at the other ones. Okay, this one's close to filling, so let me go ahead and this one's at 79. Maybe, and I don't have any emptying. Maybe I should empty them. Get them going. Okay, so that's one way you can do it. Now, if you have the recycle centers, so this is the kind of like the one exception, we'll say. The recycle centers are OP. They're awesome. They're $240 a week, and they process 24,000 units a week. This thing's 1,400 a week and processes 48. It gives you a little bit of electricity, but its efficiency on electricity is not good. So don't put these down to generate electricity. Put down a power plant to generate electricity. So roughly 2 of these. Well, actually, not roughly. Exactly 2 of these for $248 processes the same amount as one of these. So this is 48,000. 2 of these would be 48,000. So all I know is 480 is a whole lot less expensive than 1,400 a week. So if you have the recycle center, you should never, ever use the incinerator unless you're going for a look. Of course, it's your city. Build it how you want to. Put an incinerator every block if that's what your heart desires. But what I'm saying is, cost-effective way, these things crush. Actually, any of these. You can put down only recycle centers, and your garbage processing will be fine. In my city, I have recycle centers and landfills. So I'm kind of using a mix of both, and I'm probably doing it more like 2 to 1, or maybe even two recycle centers for 1 landfill. So I'm a little skewed this way. But if you have these 3, this one should be out of your mind. You should never use it. You just use these guys. And once again, they don't process as much garbage, so you could probably go more for like a 2 of these to 1 of these ratio, kind of like what I'm doing. I'm sorry, 2 of these to 1 of these. So 2 landfills to 1 recycle center, roughly, we'll say. Or maybe even a 1-to-1. Just go to 1-to-1 ratio if you want to kind of like save a little bit of money. Or just do all recycle centers. I really never use these. Maybe in my next city I'll just use them because they're expensive as well. This is $5,400 a week, and then these things are $240 a week, which is on par with. They have a huge capacity, And this has a pretty good processing, but the processing of these two beats kind of like this guy, but the recycle center crushes these two in terms of cost. So if you're trying to save money and trying to build a fiscally mindful city or a fiscally efficient city, you will never use these two, or you'll never use this one. You'll just use these two. If you're going for the hub and spoke feel and look, because that's what you want to build, and you have these two, then rock these two. It'll be good. Don't use any of these for hub and spoke. I mean, you can. Just realize you're going to have some negative consequences of struggling to collect garbage on the outskirts of your city. Unless you build multiple hub and spokes, then it might work. And also, you're going to lose the kind of like the green efficiency coverage. So, you know, some of your buildings might not level up to 4 and 5 because they're going to be missing that they're going to be lacking that service. Where these two would provide that, because he would be in the local area, and he'd be the hub. I think that's it for garbage. I hope this was helpful. You guys take care. I hope you have a successful and prosperous city. And as always, happy building.